Road to Glory week 3. Getting back into it week 3 coming in. And these are how our standings look after 2 weeks. We got McGill on a hot streak right now. Scoring wise, absolutely beauty right now. Um, Followed by Mirando. Those are the only two remaining undefeated squads left. And then we got, what do we got? Six, six one-on-one teams. And then we have Brett and Evan at 0 and 2. But obviously both have a chance to get a win this week. All right, so we can get into last week to see the outcomes of each matchup. I will also apologize because I forgot Ethan and Brett's matchup last week. I don't even know how that happened, but it happened. Uh, Let me see here. I did write down who I thought was going to win that matchup, and I did pick Brett, which obviously didn't work. 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll go into me and Japes. I predicted myself. We got that one right. Want to know there. All right, so obviously Burrow getting a toe injury, bunch of fun shit there. Absolutely pussy, bro. Um, didn't seem to affect Jamar though, which I was happy with. As Browning just threw him the ball every pass. Still waiting for that McLaurin Daniels chemistry to get back into play. And then DJ Moore, I don't know. Rome's kind of been hot right now. Um, but I still like him in the next couple weeks with who they're playing. Jacobs, he doesn't do a lot of receiving. However, he does score like every game. And then Kyron, little disappointing there, but he still had the bulk of the work. ETN, absolute beauty, and same with Aubrey, the go kicker. That's kind of just where the bulk of everything came from me. James Mahomes 23. But obviously you can see here just absolutely no production. The Patriots having 18 was kind of nuts because that was something that I didn't see, but they also had a return touchdown as well. But yeah, very little offensive production there. Um, I mean, Ramondre had 18, Vimo had 15, Warren had 14. Um, but yeah, so that one happened, and then we had Nihil versus Galigo. I did pick Galigo, so I'm 1-1 there. Galigo, what do we have? Jaden with 19. He is questionable going into this week. What did they say? It was like a knee injury. Yeah. I still feel like he'll play, if I'm being honest. AJ's been quiet the first 2 weeks. The Eagles have really been adamant on running the ball. So he hasn't really had a lot of opportunity. Metcalf had a touchdown. Mike Evans had, a relatively quiet game, I would say. But Saquon and Bucky, I would say, gave good production this week. McBride had 6 for 78, and then Waddle, we saw that, had the touchdown versus the Pats. But Denver, absolutely pisser performance against Indy. led by the GOAT Danny Dimes. But Branch had 12, Fred Warner had 14 and a half. Going over to Nihil Drake. Drake had a beauty of a game. What do we have? 230, two pass, one rush. Um, Followed that up with a 100-yard performance from JSN, a 100-yard performance from Tyreek, touchdown from T. What do we have? 18. I mean, Bijan was in the ball every play. Touchdown from Connor. I would say McCarthy with Hawkinson. I mean, goes to show for the rest of that receiving core. He just did not look good this week. Keenan Allen is going to be, he's looking to be a steal right now. Um, and it should have been obvious just because of the chemistry him and Herb have already had in the past. But Buffalo's defense at 14, and then pretty good production from the defensive players. Let's see. We had Tootin with 15. Ferguson with 14, Juwan Jennings with a touchdown, Chubb with a touchdown. So now Hill won that one by 19. So now he's sitting at 1-1. And it looks like Evan with a new team name. And picture. I did. Who did I take in this? I took Evan. Fuck me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Let me see. McCarthy, I actually am still kind of surprised that you started McCarthy. Um, he was pisser, bro. Nico had that one early touchdown and then was kind of quiet from there on out. Neighbors, Neighbors exploded. Russ looks like he was primetime 2013 Seahawks. Um, he still got really good deep ball. And then Oh, he had BTJ. Bro literally could have had a touchdown. He's got butterfingers. I'll still take him though. I'll still take him. And then Travion's been quiet. Was he a gamble that early? I don't know. James Cook doing James Cook things. Let James cook. Um, he's been a monster, bro. Him and Josh Allen are gonna explode Thursday night. Like they're gonna absolutely massacre Miami. Like if you have Josh Allen and James Cook. Like they might both have 30. I'm not even kidding. Um, Laporta had 4, Devontae Smith with 7. Yeah, they just quiet on passing the ball. Looks like Brooks and Cooper. And then Green Bay's defense looked good. Bo at 21, so obviously that was the difference there. With Bo Nix. Miranda getting the win hurts. Had a rushing touchdown, 11 with a rushing touchdown. It's kind of crazy still. London, I mean, bro, they just like did not pass the ball at all. And then obviously with Wilson, we saw Fields get hurt with the concussion. I guess we'll have to keep an eye on if he's playing this week. And then we have Pickens had a touchdown. He looked good down the stretch in that game. Gibbs had a touchdown, also added 3 receptions, and that absolute blowout win. And then Achane, bro, is literally a receiver at this point. 8 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown for a running back. And then Juwan Johnson's been playing good. Like Rattler is absolutely dog shit. But I mean, Juwan Johnson's like their only red zone threat at this point. So it's not like a terrible, I guess, plug and play. And then Javonte with 23, I think he's kind of been a shock with how well he's played in Dallas. And then Trader, 18 points for Indy. And that was kind of it. Like the offensive production here is what won the week for Mirando. We'll see what Mirando does for Ridley. I thought we had thought that that was going to come out hotter than it has been, but Miranda still walks away with the dub. And then we had Brett versus Ethan. I won't lie. I did write Brett down. Um, so not ideal, I guess for me there in terms of the predictions. Kyler, Kyler and Marv a little disappointed, especially with who they played against. But Debo's an absolute steal as of right now. They're just using him in every which way, returning, receiving, gadget plays, running the ball. A little concerning for me with McLaurin. Um, we'll see this week if Jaden Daniels was to be out, if that would change at all. Um, and then we had Ibuka with 11. He had another touchdown to add. He caught that early, but that was kind of it. After that, Brees had 5. I mean, they were kind of in trouble in that game off the bat. Genty with 7, Bowers with 7. Kevontae Turpin, 102 return yards and a touchdown. He had 18, so that was a good play there for Brett. Little had 10. The Rams defense had 13. They played a good game. And then Henley's a monster, bro. Bro was pissed about that potential pick six. And then Byron Young had 11 and a half. So still a good week from Brett, honestly. And then Ethan had 176 with Allen putting up 11. Obviously, we can see right below. Amon-Ra 35, 3 touchdowns, 9 catches, 115 yards. Bro, they were up by 30, still throwing the ball. Like he caught 2 touchdowns that probably they shouldn't even like have been throwing at that point. Um, Myers had 6 for 68. Ladd only had 5 for 48. He's questionable here. Bicep injury, did not practice. Interesting. Kamara had 16 without scoring a touchdown, 6 catches, obviously. Pollard 92 rush yards. Tyler Warren's questionable here now. He had 4 catches. He didn't practice. A lot of injuries it looks like going on here. And then obviously the absolute dagger, Roquan Smith, 8 tackles, 63 turnover return yards, and a touchdown. Absolute pisser there for Brett. Kenneth Walker had 18, Algier had 14, and then Brett's bench, Swift, Shaheed, Wandale, Malik, Scadaboo. Um, if Brett maybe started one of them, could have had a chance. Maybe not Swift, I think, for Brees Hall. I don't think that would have mattered. No. Um, or Scadaboo, but and then we had McGill, the first 200-point score of the season. I did pick McGill, and I was right, and I caught shit for it. And guess what? I was right. So I'm not gonna take it. So unfortunately, 2-3 overall again. Bringing my record to 4-6. Need to get that up. Got to work on that. Um, What Andrew did, I just wanted to see because I didn't see Baker. It's obviously the right choice with Dak there. I don't think a lot of people saw that game being a shootout, but it was. CD had 17. He had 9 for 112. Still waiting to see him get into the end zone. Puka with 24. He had a huge rushing touchdown for, I think it was like a 40 something yarder rushing touchdown. Um, Judy had 7 points. Chase Brown had 8. He's gonna be, honestly, I think he's the one that's in trouble. Just because I expect them to be trailing a lot, and they're gonna be, excuse me, playing from behind. But Chuba back-to-back weeks with the touchdown, both receiving too, and then Tucker Craft. He's looked really good this year. He may be a top 5 fantasy tight end by the end of the year. Could possibly happen. Keon Coleman was quiet. I mean, Allen was kind of like in and out here and there um, with a face injury. I don't know if it was his nose or not. I didn't really look. Um, Carlson at 12. Baltimore's defense at 17. Paulson Adebo and Cam Bynum both went over their projections. Carl Granderson with 11 and a half. But the big answer here is Jordan Mason going to be the starter now with Aaron Jones going on IR because that's just how the experience goes. Um, McGill, absolute beauty of a week. Lamar, 26 points. He's back to being the number one overall fantasy scorer. Devontae Adams, 106, six catches and a touchdown. They look good. Like I said, there's no reason why him and Puka to not hit their projections every week. So that was a good matchup for them. Ted McMillan had 100 yards. So that's not a bad sign. Zay Flowers, 7 for 75. Obviously, not the week that he had last week, excuse me. But we can definitely see Lamar's targeting him more than in years past. So that's obviously a plus there. And then absolute gorgeous production out of the running back room. CMC, 6 receptions, and a receiving touchdown from Michael McCorkle Jones. Um, JT 165 yards and a touchdown against Denver. Uh, and obviously, them going into Tennessee could be another big week for him. Kincaid had 6 points. Monty had 12. Boswell, he's been automatic to 12. Arizona 16. Daniil Hunter 11. Sherwood. And then obviously here, I'll have to see what McGill's doing. Does he go Rome? Does he go Monty this week? Even Rashad had a good week. Um, but McGill 212 in hot. Trust the process. Can he continue it moving forward as we get into this week's matchups? I did see on my phone, Yahoo did pick Andrew versus Mirando as the matchup to watch of the week. So that will be the matchup of the week. But let me go through transactions that happened, which led us to the matchups that we have going forward this week. So let's pull that up. All right, so let's go down to. I know we had a lot of moves. Okay, Troy Franklin to Justin. Oh yeah, Rashawn Gary picked up Goff. Evan swapping out Mims. Caleb to Galigo. Ertz to Japes. Danny Dimes to me. Herb to Evan, and then Cup to Mirando. I know for a fact I had a waiver in on Cup. Um, but that's it. Let's get into the matchups this week. Me versus Brett. Um, rolling with Danny Dimes. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. For Danny Dimes to shine. Um, then we got Jamar at Minnesota. We saw kind of the game against Atlanta. Um, I'm still really not concerned about him. Terry will be a question to start for me if Daniels doesn't play. Um, I don't know about him yet. I know DJ Moore hasn't been putting up Rome stats. However, I like the matchup against Dallas, especially after what Russ was able to put up last week. And then Jacobs at Cleveland, Kyron at Philly. That's going to be a tough matchup. We got Travis at the Giants, and then I'm still having trouble here. I don't know who I'm going to play yet between Warren and ETN. After seeing what Achane did receiving last week, I think the Patriots are like bottom three and giving up receiving to running backs. And I still think Houston's defense is pretty good. So Not sure yet there. Brett's got Kyler and Marv going up against San Fran. That'll be an interesting matchup because I know did the Cardinals win in San Fran last year? I think they did. Um, I'm a little nervous to go against Debo. And then we'll go on Malik. Well, he did 15 last week. Oh shit. Then we got Genty at Washington. I still think, he'll put up more than he did last week, and same with Bowers. There's no way no, this is not happening. You're not starting these people. You're not starting Scattaboo either against the Chiefs. No way. And you're not starting this dude, Shamir Dyke, DK, like, what are we saying here? Cam Little, Minnesota's defense is projected 13. Why are the defenses projected that much? Um, Travis Hunter's playing Houston, okay. Dude, there's no way, like, I still think you're gonna put these people in. We already know my pick. I'm going with Danny Dimes, even though I got a lot of uncertainty about my team in terms of my quarterback, Jamar, with a backup now. Um, I still don't know who I'm starting at my flex, but I'm rolling with Danny Dimes, so you got to respect it. So I'm writing that in. Gotta respect Danny Dimes. There's no way, but yeah, Brett's gonna be putting these people on. I don't believe it. I could go goof, but I don't know. Got Galigo versus Japes. Galigo. I know you picked up Caleb, so he's probably your emergency QB right now. Um, and that's against Dallas, so that's not a bad matchup to have worst case. But if Jaden does play, I think this is a great bounce back game for him. Hopefully for Terry too. Um, I think that would definitely be a good game for him going against the Raiders at home. And then AJ, this could be, the week where he kind of like actually does something versus the Rams. Metcalf. So it's interesting because I saw Gonzalez was, I think, limited today. So if he plays, I don't know what his percentage is going to be health wise, but I would think that if he were to play, it would be on DK. Um, then we'll probably see Mike Evans get a lot of sauce, but I'm not really too concerned about that at all. Saquon, we saw what Saquon did. I know playoffs are different, but we saw stuff Saquon did to the Rams all of last year too. I mean, I think his best two games were probably against the Rams last year. Bucky, he's been getting a lot of receiving work. I mean, he's got 10 catches in two games. Um, I think that's where he's getting a lot of value right now is in the receiving game. And then we got McBride against San Fran. We got Waddle right now questionable tomorrow against Buffalo. See, the thing about that is, well, I don't know who else he'd start, so you're probably gonna go Waddle. There, like, I just see Miami getting absolutely pummeled tomorrow, where like Miami's just not even gonna do anything right. Um, Japes has got Mahomes against the Giants. Okay, that one will be kind of interesting too, just because the Giants definitely have a good front seven. The only problem is Mahomes likes to run a lot now. So if he's able to get out of the pocket, he could be seeing some more rush yards here. Jettis, dude, I actually think he's gonna be better with Carson Wentz. I don't know why. Um, Sutton against the Chargers. We got Slick Rick against the Cardinals. So who are you sitting? Hollywood and Hampton. That's kind of crazy. But obviously we have King. Dude, that's a really good spot for him. Monday night home against Detroit. And then we got Bill as the starter. I mean, Eckler's done, so it's his backfield, so why not? And then Ertz, if Daniels is to go, dude, he's a top 10 tight end this year in fantasy. So Patriots defense against Pittsburgh will be interesting too. How much did he have? Dude, give me Devin White back. Um, I'm still gonna roll with Gallego. I really like Gallego's running back room still. This is Evan versus Ethan. This is I mean, you guys are right neck and neck too. Evan's going Herb versus Denver. Evan's given up on Bo Nix. Nico against Jacksonville. Bro, if there was a time for Nico to have his game, it would be here. Neighbors against Kansas City. I don't know how much I like that. Who are they gonna have? McDuffie on him probably. And then they're gonna be blitzing a lot. So it's probably gonna be man. Um, I don't know. I'm conflicted on neighbors. Brian Thomas will probably have Stingley on him. We saw that with Mike Evans, how he was shadowing him the game. Henderson against Pittsburgh. Looks like Ramondre's taking the bulk right now. I'm not going to complain. But I think Henderson definitely needs to be more involved still. And then James Cook. Bro, we already know it's a minimum. I can't see minimum of 20 from James Cook this week. It has to be. Laporta against Baltimore. Devontae Smith versus the Rams. Okay. Green Bay's defense against Cleveland is good. And Scott Scotch versus Miami. Yeah, he's going for 30 tomorrow. Just, you got to accept it. He's getting at least 25. There's no way he doesn't. And Rob versus Baltimore. See, my opinion on that game is I think Baltimore is going to absolutely just, they're just going to annihilate Detroit, I think. I really think that's going to happen. Um, So I don't know. I don't know. The game script's probably going to be Detroit playing from behind. I think it just will depend about how poorly that they're playing. Just because we've seen Detroit play Baltimore before, I think it may have been 2 years ago where they just got absolutely destroyed, and there were no stats that game. Jacoby Myers, I like that versus Washington. He's like the safety blanket pretty much. He has 14 catches through 2 games, 22 targets. Lad versus Denver. I mean, I wouldn't think Surtain would be on him, so it could open up for Lad in the slot. Obviously, they use Keenan Allen too, so I'm curious to see if Surtain just stays on one side of the field. And then we have Kamara against Seattle. I don't think it matters who they're playing. He's still going to get like his six catch. I can't talk. 6 catches a game. And then we have Pollard home against Indy. Indy's defense has been playing well, um, or well enough for them to win. We haven't seen a lot out of Pollard, but I saw Warren did not practice today. Little concerning. I think at the end of the day, I would expect him to play. And then we have Kenneth Walker in the lineup versus New Orleans. I like that matchup for him as well. Atlanta's defense, after what they did to Minnesota, I mean, they could probably replicate it. I think I'm gonna go. I'm going Ethan. I think this is the one of those matchups where it's going to be hard to stop Squash. So, um, that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be a squash night, that's for sure. Andrew versus Mirando. Obviously, Yahoo has it as matchup of the week. It looks like Andrew has Dak in right now. Um, Playing Chicago. That's probably a good matchup. Um, Also got the stack with CD. This would I would expect honestly CD to probably score in this game. Uh, so it'd be a double whammy. And then obviously with Puka, I mean we know the Eagles are going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to control the clock. There's a chance that the Rams are playing from behind. Uh, I think Puka had a good game against Philly in the playoffs. I think. Um, I want to just check Puka versus Eagles playoffs. He had 11 catches for 141 yards. Okay. Yeah. It also looks like he injures Quentin Johnson in. He has 3 touchdowns in 2 games. Chase Brown, I'll be honest, I really don't expect a lot from him, especially against Minnesota, just because I know Bijan was able to run the ball, um, but I just don't trust Cincy's O line and what the game script's going to end up being. I think at the beginning of the game they'll try to, um, and get Chase Brown involved. I just don't see it lasting for a whole game. Um, Also, like Minnesota was missing some people last week. I think Van Ginkel will be back. He's a big part of their defense. I just don't like the matchup. Um, Obviously, you would think that, backup QB, they'll try to get him involved, but I just think, I don't know, I just don't have a feeling about Chase Brown without Burrow. I feel like Burrow helped him more. Then we have Chuba against Atlanta. He's had both of his touchdowns this year have been receiving. Um, he's still the clear back there. He's got 26 carries over 2 games. It's all about like it sucks that he's on that team because it all comes back to the game script. They're always losing, so they're always having to throw the ball. Obviously, the plus is that he's had both of his touchdowns be on the receiving end, so I guess it equals out there. And then Tucker Kraft, he's been playing like a top 3 fantasy tight end, and then Jordan Mason, that's he's an RB1 now. Um, Yeah, that's an absolute beauty to have him against Cincinnati as well. Carlson's been on the money. I really like Seattle's defense this week. I did try to get them as well. Miranda's got Hurts versus the Rams. He's due for a tush push every game. That's just how reality is. Um, Drake London against Carolina. I like that. He should bounce back. Garrett Wilson versus Tampa Bay. If Fields isn't playing, I know we gave Fields a lot of shit, but still, like, Tyrod Taylor is not good either. Um, I wouldn't have a great feeling if Fields didn't play with Garrett Wilson. And then we got Pickens versus Chicago. That's a good matchup. Obviously, you guys got a couple Cowboys playing in this game. Jahmyr Gibbs versus Baltimore. See, I really don't. I personally think Baltimore is going to kill them. I don't know. I don't know about that game. And then Achan, I mean, he's a receiver at this point. He catches more balls than anyone on that team. Um, so not really worried about him. I wouldn't be surprised if he scores either. Then Juwan Johnson, he's been their red zone target. Um, they don't really have a lot of weapons in terms of red zone target share. So, and then Javonte playing against Chicago as well. He's been balling out. And then you have Washington versus the Raiders. We got Cup, Ridley, Diggs on the bench. This should be a good matchup though. I'm gonna pick Andrew. I'm with Andrew this week. I'm liking the Dak CD stack this week. Plus, I like Mason too. I think he's going to be a huge boost. And then lastly, McGill projected 180. That's absurd. That's absurd. Lamar versus Detroit, dude. He's coming for blood this game. I'm telling you, love it. Devontae Adams at Philly. Obviously, I would expect them to throw the ball a good amount. I still think Puka's like, I mean, he's got to be like at least 8 catches a game here. But Devontae's such a good complement in that offense. And then Ted McMillan, I mean, I was pretty impressed with what Atlanta did with Minnesota. Obviously, teams like to play down to their competition. So I wouldn't be surprised if that game, was pretty close. Zay Flowers, I love that spot as well at home Monday night. So obviously, if McGill's behind or in striking distance, two really good players to have. CMC versus Arizona. Beauty start. Same thing with Taylor. That's kind of what I'm worried about with Daniel Jones, but still, um, I still like it. Kincaid's playing tomorrow against Miami. Okay, and then going with Roma Dunze. Love the start over Montgomery. Yeah, I like that. Fire that up first Dallas. Yeah, that's a good move there. Boswell versus the Patriots. And then Indy's defense. Okay. Nihil's got Drake versus Pittsburgh. I mean, to be fair, Pittsburgh's defense, bro, has looked horrid. Like they just have not looked good. Um, I mean, Patriots at home again, wearing Pat the Patriot unis, I think, and all red, so fired up. Jason versus New Orleans, love that matchup for him. I would expect 100 yards out of him. And then Tyreek versus Buffalo. It's just if Tyreek can get that one big play going tomorrow, like I feel like it has to happen early. It has to be like a first half play. Um, because otherwise I just feel like that game becomes a blowout. I know you can say, you know, either garbage time or, the script's gonna be playing from behind, but still like I don't know, it's just one of those games where it's a blowout and then they just stop trying. Um, we got T versus Minnesota. Okay. I mean, he caught that bomb from Browning last week, so obviously, um, Browning was throwing him his only touchdown, and then Bijan versus Carolina fire that up. That's a good matchup there. I am getting a little concerned with James Conner. I know that he's scored in both games. I just feel like his yards and his carries aren't really selling me right now. So I feel like that's something to maybe watch. Um, Hawkinson hasn't showed me really anything yet. And then Keenan, I mean, him and Herb got the chemistry. I really like Keenan still. I wish I had him actually. And then Buffalo's defense versus Miami. This could be a beauty right there. Obviously, it's contradicting because you have Tyreek, but still, sacks, turnovers. I don't mind that at all. We got sitting Pacheco, Jawan Jennings. But I got to go with Miguel. I just feel like his firepower is coming hot, and if he's in striking distance or if he's losing going into Monday night, he could easily flip that as well. Um, but those two running backs are absolute killers right now, and just adding Lamar with that's pretty pisser. So I'm going Miguel to go to 3-0. So we'll see. This could be the first time McGill starts out a season 3-0. Okay. So yeah. I think starting next week I'll get into like the point scores. I just think it's early still. I feel like 3 weeks is fair enough. So matchups are set. Everyone's got their waivers in right now. A lot of good matchups. Definitely a lot of good matchups this week to keep an eye on. Obviously, I don't expect the standings to stay remotely the same at all. Um, so good luck. See you guys. Well, actually, tomorrow we got Bills, Dolphins, and then on to Sunday and Monday. So another week, another weekend, week 3. So good luck, and we'll see. We'll see how the standings look next week.